okay, I have to admit, this was a philosophical clash I had with my peers, because when we started, I've been often asked like, hey, you patent things, and how does it go with patents? And in my research, I also found out you own a patent as well. You hold one.
I was a co-applicant as a PhD student.
Yeah. But that's pretty cool. Yeah. That's we might talk about that in a little bit. But what I noticed was that I often heard from the tech transfer people the argument of, we need to patent what you made, and only then we can give it out. And I'm wondering, because as soon as you patent something, you as the university are the official owner. And this becomes a little bit of a catch-22. I realize this. But I see it like this. Your research is funded by taxpayer money.
Yep.
You as a university exist based on taxpayer money.
Yes.
So whatever you create should not be owned by you. It should be owned by everyone. It should be made publicly available, and that's the separate part of now the publishing and the paywalls when it comes to that. But it should be made, if you will, open source for everyone to use if they wish to do so. And when you have a patent, you basically create another wall of, another hurdle of getting that done. And then I heard often the argument, but you need to protect your ideas and et cetera, et cetera. And then you need to have this into a startup to then actually bring it out. Now, I normally argue is the money didn't come from you. The money wasn't generated by you. Why should you own this and make money off of it and not give actually back to society in that sense? What you could do is give everyone the opportunity to build a startup around what you have found out, and you would still do the same thing. And maybe the tech transfer, and that's part what you said, should not focus on patenting these things, but advocating that these things exist, or maybe even fund startups that will use that without a patent involved whatsoever.
They can.
They can.
So, but one of the issues, I think the most important than issue with this is, and this is something that scientists really forget a lot, is sustainability.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So one of the problems about giving something away is it can often just fall flat in its face and fail, right?
Yeah.
So I have a number of apps on my phone that I can't use anymore because the iOS updated to the newest version and the person who wrote the app hasn't bothered to do it.
Yeah.
So one of the problems with open source is it can often just end up junk, right? Because no one is going to invest the time, money, or effort to keep it going.
But the same thing could happen with patents as well.
Oh yeah. So there's a lot of patents. So I agree. The point is not to say, not to push people towards making patents.
Right.
Like patents should not be the next paper.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of papers on a given topic just thrown up into PubMed.
Right.
Hopefully someone will find something useful out of it. And we're starting to see that this is not always working. Right?
Yeah, it's definitely.
Same thing is having a whole bunch of patents to just brag that you have a patent or to block people from innovating is a really stupid idea.
Yeah, I agree.
But if the patent allows a startup to be created so that the startup can gain traction, so that the startup can actually make a product that people will buy, so that the startup can employ people, then you need the patent, right? And if the patent is say for industry, the only way they're going to be interested in working with you at all, then you might need a patent. Right. But if you look at it and you say, okay, there's no real point in patenting this because it maybe it can't be patented, or just the amount of money that we'd have to put into this patent would
strategically it makes no sense.
Makes no sense.
Yeah.
Maybe then what you would say instead is we are instead then interested in a partnership. We're instead interested in the university and scientists being able to, now you're saying kind of more for the good of society using taxpayer money.
Right.
This is where UX design would come in.
Yeah.
To be able to say, okay, well, the university thinks that this research is really good. People can use it, but now we need people to be aware of it, and we need to get people using it so that we can iron out all the bugs and the kinks.
Right.
And we can maybe think that maybe we scientists have thought that this is useful, but society doesn't actually care about this at all.
Yeah.
But they care about something else that we could easily tweak and make into something, right? And so, but even that then, again, never forget and this is, scientists are people, they've got families to support and mortgages and whatever, rents to pay.
Yeah.
So eventually it can't just be volunteer and it can't just be for free.
Right.
So somewhere there needs to be a grant or a private donation or a foundation or revenues generated from a business, because otherwise how are the competent people going to make a living doing this, right? And that's the one difficulty with pure open source and pure volunteer good for society that you can't just ignore.
No, I agree with you. These things definitely need to coexist, because I mean, if you don't own a house, you need to pay rent and buy food minimum. And I find it a little unfair to expect of someone who went to normal school and then basically spent almost 10 years of their life to then also finish a PhD and then to work for free.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to.
Yeah.
Well, I find it actually rude to assume that.
So then of course those people will not do it. They will have no incentive,
exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So they'll chase research grants if they're a researcher and do what's required for research grants, and they'll teach because if they're employed to teach, or they will leave and get scooped up by industry anyway, right? Or something like that, right? So then exactly. No, like doing something for free.
It's dangerous.
It's dangerous.
It's definitely dangerous.
It usually, what I see is these free things, and
it's unsustainable.
They're there. Yeah, exactly. They're not sustainable. They're there for a year and then they go away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's just these, I like to call them sometimes just vanity metrics. Yep. These are still just counted as, oh, look, we did this. Look, we did this. Yeah. Oh, where is it now? We don't know. Well, so it doesn't really count, in my opinion. No, I agree with you. These need to be... It needs to be definitely thought about where the flow of the economic engine comes in. And I'm not saying it all needs to be 100% for profit, but there needs to be an influx of money and some type of financial compensation to pay people to just live. And that's just how currently the economy works.
Yeah, exactly.
But then again, I've seen a lot of open source models, and I was surprised about this myself. I've seen, for example, when it comes to platforms where you can organize your projects and work with other people together. I've seen, of course, paid versions. What do you have? Slack, Asana, others as well, Trello, I think. I don't want to say anything wrong. Sorry for the ones I didn't mention. Those are paid services. And then you have the open source versions, which you can host yourself. And then it's for free. But if you don't want to host it yourself, you don't have to. And then there is a company that basically took the open source code and built a service around it.
And that's very successful. They charge for that, right?
And they charge for that. But they only, basically what they charge for is they don't charge for, look, we invented this thing, which they haven't. But they say, look, we can understand that open source sometimes seems a little messy because you don't know who did what and what's happening here. And then something gets pulled, something gets pushed, you merge code. You don't have to worry about all of those things. Just sign up to us. We take care of this additional step of maintenance.
Yep.
And that's then what they get paid for.
That's fine. That's a great business model.
I think so too.
So open source, you're right. So open source, there's freemium. So we should talk about that. So first off, there's freemium, right? So freemium and the example just you gave, these are possible, right? So you can for people, that is a good way, because now, there's a couple of things. There's corporate social responsibility is now a big thing. Good. It also fits with the younger generation. So people now are willing to, maybe work for less money or be less driven for making a profit if they feel good about what they do and they're
Right.
excited to get out and contribute, get up in the morning, contribute to society. So it does kind of work.
I think it's important. It's also important, right?
So some of these models make sense when you have different tiers of customers, right? Those who get it for free and those who are willing to pay for something more premium,
Right. Yeah.
right? And so I think that's where it can work as a business model.
Yeah.
And I think in general, pure open source that I can think of good ones, they can work in academia, again, if, say, junior people are incentivized to keep it going. So people who are, I can think of examples like many of the open source tools we use for neuroimaging.
Yeah.
They rely on a new PhD student or postdoc who wants to do research in neuroimaging, probably more on the data science and computational side.
Mm-hmm.
Part of their training and what they can use to build their career off of is contribution to this open source technology platform that people around the world are using.
Yeah.
Right. And then it can be maintained. And these are examples. The Donders has a great one, field trip analysis for EEG. That's an
great
example, right?
Oh, it's perfect.
But still, field trip could not exist if there was not a few scientists who, Robert Ostenfeld and Jan Matthias Schoffelman, sorry, I'm saying these names wrong as a Canadian, who didn't take the lead to keep it going.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is these are examples where it can work.
Yeah.